What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about if we're going to get a new Kingdom Hearts game announcement at E3 2021. So if you guys didn't watch yesterday's video, we've started May being the month leading into E3, which obviously it's the month right before. I'm going to be talking about a bunch of different games and their odds, their likelihood of having or being announced, whether it's a franchise or a brand new game altogether. And it's time to talk about our old friend, a friend and a game franchise that we've covered quite a bit of on this channel. I miss it. I miss Kingdom Hearts quite a bit. I didn't think I would miss it as much as I do. But, you know, Melody of Memory was Melody of Memory. Remind was Remind, and you'll know that I didn't have the greatest opinions to say on that. So it's really been, you know, a couple years since the last big one in terms of Kingdom Hearts 3. And even that had its, had its problems, let's just say that. So, you know, will this be the time where we get a brand new game? Well, let's go over what we know first. We know Square Enix is going, so they immediately qualify for my video series, right? Because Square Enix will be at E3 2021. Now, I imagine, and at the time I'm recording this, we don't know this for sure, but I'd imagine they're going to do their own thing under the banner of E3. We've already seen Ubisoft kind of do this. Ubisoft has announced that they're going to do their Ubisoft Forward event. I believe the first day of E3, and it's under E3, okay? But it's their, you know, and they did Ubisoft Forward last year all by themselves, you know, without having their hand held by anybody. And Square Enix has already done what Square Enix Presents, I believe is the name, right? Which is where they announced Life is Strange True Colors just about, you know, a month and a half ago or so. So they've done it too. I do think they'll probably do something similar to that. And they have quite a few things they can announce. Kingdom Hearts just being one of it. And I want to do, like I said, I want to do individual videos, you know, talk about the individual games that could be. And then as we get really close to E3, I'll do like summary videos where I do like predictions for the entire publisher. But it's no secret, you know, Life is Strange is probably something that they lean in pretty heavily. Final Fantasy 16, I think, is something that Sony, are they allowed to do exclusive stuff like those games, let's say the game exclusive to Sony, or even Project Athea or Forspoken? I mean, some of these games are, you know, exclusive to PlayStation consoles or maybe PlayStation consoles and PC. So are they allowed to say stuff like that? But they obviously have quite a few things. They could even do Marvel's Avengers stuff. But Kingdom Hearts, you know, I would, you know, obviously I'm listing a bunch of these other things first, but Kingdom Hearts is one that I would think of almost immediately. Probably the first thing I think of when I think of Square Enix, just to me personally, is Kingdom Hearts. So before I get too much further in this video, make sure, if you guys have not yet already, that you guys are subscribed to this channel. Obviously, if there's anything Kingdom Hearts related ever, news, new game, anything like that, I'll obviously be covering it on this channel. So make sure, again, subscribe, bell icon. And final thing is, if you guys have not yet followed me over on Twitter, my Twitter name is PodcastNow15. Would love to have you guys over there. You can obviously look me up on Twitter, or there's a link in the description below for you guys to get there much faster and easier. So look, I know Nomura has a lot on his plate. You know, you even have Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2, which is a very long, I believe that would be the official name. So that's a very long name, but you even have that. So they have a lot they could do. I mean, look, we're not at an anniversary year yet of Kingdom Hearts. We know that next year, 2022, is going to be a very big year for Kingdom Hearts. We also know, in terms of, so I want to say this. So Kingdom Hearts 3 was the last big one, right? I mean, as we know from being Kingdom Hearts fans, they're all important. Remind's very important. You know, Melody of Memory is important for like the last 10 minutes of it. But like, you have to, even games like that, you should probably at least watch them online, right? Just so we're up to date on our Kingdom Hearts lore, right? But Kingdom Hearts 3 was the last big one, and they've publicly admitted that that was a big mistake announcing it as early as they did. Now, as we've said, you know, next year being the anniversary, do you do Kingdom Hearts 4? I don't think that's the case. I think we probably get one, maybe two or more. You know, they could just go indefinitely. Spin-off games, like side games. You know, we've said the ideas of Birth by Sleep 2 and Dream Drop Distance 2, all these different games. There's definitely a possibility that they could do that instead. But no matter what, I mean, if it's a Birth by Sleep 2, if it's a Dream Drop, or if it's just like literally a brand new subtitle name, they're big. Like, those games are still big. I don't know if they'll do as big as like Kingdom Hearts 3 would do or Kingdom Hearts 4 would do, but they're definitely, it's still like a big deal. And it's much bigger than Remind. It'd be much bigger than Melody of Memory, right? Melody of Memory was a solid enough thing leading into it, but it was still, I would say, on like a scale on the very low end, just simply because of the kind of a recap game. That's pretty much what it was, just in a rhythm form, right? But this new game would be pretty big. So what I'm trying to say is, the next game's going to be a main installment Kingdom Hearts game. How early do they do stuff for it? So are we assuming next year for the anniversary is when we get it, is when it's actually released? Because if that's the case, I really think you could very easily announce it this year. And again, yes, I know, and they've said, and we all, and I believe it too. Like when they announced Kingdom Hearts 3, way too early. They went dark for like 2 years after that, and we didn't see anything for several years. So like it was way too early. But if the game is releasing within the next year and a half at max, now we do live in a world where delays happen like every other day, and anything can really happen. So I get it. If you announce it at E3, if you say it comes out November or October of 2022, and then if it gets delayed, then yeah, you're starting to approach, okay, well then you announced it and it releases 2 years after you announce it, and like, does that look bad, or do you not want that? So like, I get why you wouldn't do it, but at the same time, and if you can't tell, I am trying to like will this into existence. I'll say this, I'm not expecting it at E3. Okay, so going into E3, going into Square Enix Presents, I don't expect a brand new Kingdom Hearts game, but I really think if they're looking to like make a statement, have like a shocking thing, like a big thing that we're not really expecting, I do think a new Kingdom Hearts game, just a trailer, just even like a 30 to 60 second trailer, I think would work. I really, really do. So I don't think it's impossible. I don't think it's the most likely in the world, but like, number one, stranger things have happened, and number two, it does kind of make sense. Like if the game is releasing for now, if it's not, if the idea was that they're going to announce all these Kingdom Hearts things for the anniversary, if that was the case, then yeah, then they're probably saving everything for next year. We won't see anything this year. That's very possible too. But I don't know, for a big anniversary like 2022 will be, I feel like you would want to try to line that up with a release, not necessarily announcements. At the same time, we've seen it in the past. Even other like JRPGs like Danganronpa, which I don't even know if that is a JRPG, but Danganronpa, they waited for their 10-year anniversary to just announce a bunch of stuff. There was no new game or anything. That technically there was like I think mobile versions came out that year, but they announced it. You have Persona having an anniversary this year. There's a lot of people that expect just an announcement, not necessarily a release of anything, but definitely an announcement. So there's different ways of doing it. Next year could be just like they could do like a very clear, like we know there is a roadmap, but they could do like a very clear roadmap of like, okay, here's the next couple games, here's some ideas, here's some concept of the closest one, right? Here's a trailer, here's the release date, but it's not coming in 2022. They could go that route, or they could say, hey, we announce it and we release it this year, or they could do it now. They could announce it and then they could say we're releasing it in 2022. Either way, we know there's more coming. We have to all be patient, and Kingdom Hearts fans are probably the most patient people on planet Earth, considering what we've all been through over the last 2 decades, right? So I don't really think there's any doubt about that. But yeah, I think it's definitely possible. I wouldn't count on it. I'm not expecting it, but I definitely think, again, stranger things have happened, and like if it does happen, again, I think it would be for more like shock value, like, oh my god, like nobody really expected this. I mean, I do think like there's a path here where it makes sense. So I personally wouldn't be all that surprised, but I also wouldn't be surprised if it's not there. So let me know, guys, in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think we get it at E3? Do you think they wait till 2022? What kind of game do you think it would be? Let me know. As always, again, if you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, bell icon, so you guys know when all these videos go up. If it is at E3, or if something, regarding it's at E3, we'll definitely be covering it, so you can definitely keep checking back here for more Kingdom Hearts stuff. And again, if you want to follow me on Twitter, PodcastNow15 is my Twitter handle. Thank you all so much for watching. I really, really do appreciate it. I hope to see you all on the next video.